Alles klar, weiß ich Bescheid. Weiterhin viel Erfolg, Mann. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. Were some pieces stolen? I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. I kind of understand how it got broken. Unstable jar. Jar pieced back together from fragments found in the crime scene. A piece is missing, okay. Grip. Looks like this one's open and the red indicator light above the door is lit. That locker is coated with Detective Goodman's fingerprint. Detective Goodman's locker? Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that? Well, it'd be hard to get it open again if we close it. It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere. Okay, ich glaube, es wird Zeit, das Spray zu benutzen. Das gute alte Frontspray. Das, was man damals immer bei Room Raiders benutzt hat, um die kleinen Ferkelspürchen zu finden. That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like that. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, detective? Huh. Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien. This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. Sehr, sehr gut. Ja, gefällt mir sehr, sehr gut. Vielen, vielen Dank. Sehr saftig. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. Don potato. I knew it. This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, detective? This locker. It's mine. It's yours? Please. You have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. What? But you're a detective. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. That just might be something significant. Hey! That's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow $50 from the chief. Where do you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I'd better jot this down on the floor plans. Das heißt, wir haben jetzt auf den Floor Plans alle Blutspuren soweit. Mehr gab's ja nicht. Jetzt können wir uns ja mit dem Detective unterhalten. So, Detective Gumshoe, you are boss for the day. That's right, it's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you are a boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation. Again. I'm adamant, though. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe? Hahaha, of course. I am detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open? I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee right now. They are trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about that case. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it. Using their ID cards? Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. I'm on my third card since entering the force already. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Right hand? You mean your fingerprints? Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coded with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open is our own. Alter, hat ein Bild von einem Mädchen. Das sehe ich ja jetzt erst. In seinem Spind. Aber das wird erst im nächsten Spiel, beziehungsweise im übernächsten Spiel relevant. Aber mir war das vorher gar nicht klar, dass da ein Bild von dieser Person drin hängt. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, right? See? The handles? On the other side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it, zap, you get a shock. If that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Okay. Das heißt also, das Licht leuchtet grün, wenn man da etwas raushaut, ja. Hehehe, Regikeck. Could you take a look at this? This is the ID record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing. I heard the rumors. So it was good men who came in here at the time of the murder. Whoa! What is it? That second number. It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe? Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. What? Oh, nice. Okay, das heißt, die zweite Nummer gehört Mr. Edgeworth. Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? 4:40 Uhr, okay. Also eine halbe Stunde vor dem Mord. Detective Goodman's note and that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone. Because of the SL9 connection? That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. Now that was a bloody violent case. Violent? So it was a murder. A serial killing. A serial killing. Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. And this was 2 years ago? That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight and started the rumor mill. Rumors about forged evidence. It was supposed to be all cleaned up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh? What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? So that switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself. Ja, muss ja. Okay, ich glaube, wir sind hier soweit durch in dem Raum. Wir haben alles Mögliche gemacht. If you put these pieces together, it makes a jar. There are two things that bother me. One, why are some of the pieces missing? Two, doesn't it seem a little unstable? No wonder it broke. Okay. Ich glaube, wir sind hier soweit fertig. Officer Meekins, could you take a look at this? I'm sorry, sir. Really sorry. I have no idea what it is. Okay. Okay, anscheinend nicht. Instant Boner. Vielleicht sollten wir die Liste hier zeigen.
Yes!
Could you take a look at this? Okay. Aura! Vielen lieben Dank für 15 Monate der Treue. Willkommen zurück, mein Freund, ja? Ich hoffe, dir geht's gut soweit. Okay, ich habe irgendetwas vergessen, aber ich bin gerade überlegen, was? Ich habe irgendwas vergessen. Muss ich nochmal mit Dingens reden? Glaube ich auch, Mädel. That's a victim, Detective Bruce Goodman's ID card. These days everything's cards and secret numbers. I can never relax. That's only because you always lose your card. I always forget my secret number too. Scary, huh? My face should be ID enough. What's the world coming to? Have we come to rebel against the system? Someone left a glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe, maybe. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know. You mean SL9? It doesn't have a tag on it. Rubber glove? Tagged evidence from the SL9 incident, extremely thin rubber glove. Hey, pal, look at the time! Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgewell's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm going to go give them my report for the day. Alter, das Restaurant! Ich komme nicht drauf klar. Diese ganzen Running Gags. Ja, Leute, die das Spiel nicht gespielt haben, die werden sich jetzt denken, hä, was ist daran so besonders? Wir werden es noch später herausfinden, okay? It might help you, you know? Report, you mean the note written on the back of that flyer? The ones that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we are talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. Oh, RIP, hab ich das echt verpasst, Metal Killer. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say too. Ja, jetzt muss ich zu Edgeworth. Oh, du kannst noch untersuchen. Wo denn? Im Beweisraum? Oder wo genau? Okay, mache ich sofort. Alter, der Page. Ah, Guess, my apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave, so long. Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Right. He has the hotel bring him the tea service. Mr. Edgeworth, you are back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. By the way, Detective Gumshoe was looking for you. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently, a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him. Steel Samurai, ja, beste Mann. Ja, ist die Steel Samurai-Figur, die ist echt nice. So how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Concealing evidence? Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I conceal evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However, something happened. They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. The police department? Yes. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police Grant. I can do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you? Why? All along I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still, wow, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Ich glaube, wir sollten ihn zuerst mal die Liste zeigen. Alright, I'd better check this now. As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage? Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? Please, don't look at me like that. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. The Chief of Police? He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have to be the evidence was already filed. The chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask you what kind of case it was? I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. I'm curious about this other case. I'd better make a note of it. Evidence from a past case of Edgeworth's brought back to his office by Gant's request. A screwdriver, okay. Stubborn as always, I told you this has nothing to do with the current case. Was können wir ihn noch zeigen? SL9? I know you. You've probably got a hold of some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident. And someone dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You're the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too then. He was a top officer and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why was a deputy chief of police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't? Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister? What? If you were still studying forensic science. Huh? Yes, of course. Why just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this? Luminol testing fluid, huh? Well then, you might have use for this. Aluminium powder for taking fingerprints. It's been chemically treated for better attention. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I have no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really... No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprints files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well? Recovers fingerprints from handprints for comparison with fingerprints files. Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Okay. Ich würde sagen, was wir uns gleich angucken können, ist erstens hier vielleicht beim ersten Tatort die Fingerabdrücke und dann auch noch beim zweiten Tatort. Also, let's go. Kann ich das nicht einfach so machen? Ne, anscheinend nicht. Anscheinend geht das hier nicht so einfach. Na, anscheinend geht das hier nicht so einfach. Okay, nevermind. Dann gehen wir erstmal, Ne, Regi Keck. Stop kecking me! Asshole. Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger. Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that we will have left behind the clearest print. I really can't tell the difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Ich würde sagen, wir nehmen einfach den hier, den Zeigefinger. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminium powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With the X button, see? Ah, it looks like that did the trick. The aluminium powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? How do I do that? With the triangle button. Exciting, I know. Imagine you are blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See? Wow, that looks like fun. It might take some getting used to it though. It's fine, I won't go up on your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. I guess I'd better give it a try. Okay, let's go. Also auf dem 3DS, ich erinnere mich, man konnte das wegblasen, indem man ins Mikrofon bläst, was recht witzig war. Aha, you did it! You found one! but this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Huh, now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we are out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door again closely. Oh, da ist ja noch was da unten. It seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if I can find a clear print. Huh? Fingerprints outside of blood? Das hier meint er, oder? Oh, nice. Ein schöner, fetter Fingerabdruck. Sieht mir nach Annies Fingern aus, wenn ich ehrlich bin. Yay! A print so clear it's dazzling! Dazzling? Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So we are not done yet. This is quite a process. Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint. And not knowing who the owner is, right? I guess she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we've got from Mr. Edgeworth. And point out the person you think left these prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was? I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprints and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprints would we most likely find on this evidence locker? Wahrscheinlich die von Gumshoe, oder? Ist ja Gumshoes Spind. Ja, das sieht mir nach Gumshoe aus. Aha. So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this, so what look? I guess it's probably because I was thinking, so what? Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right? Right, there was a handprint here. Okay, want to try using this? There go her eyes sparkling again. Auf geht's. That's a spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. Okay. Wie mache ich das hier am besten? Achso, hier wahrscheinlich, ja. Annie is guilty. Of course she is. Okay, mit wem vergleichen wir das Ganze jetzt? Wir gehen einfach mal komplett durch. Jake Marshall. Hey, these fingerprints, they... Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? That's got to be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma, this is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminol reaction, the blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh! So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a white bloodstain. But why would Officer Marshall? It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. Okay, guys. Investigation Tag 2 complete und ey Rundi.